Kemi's hands shook as she held the bank statement. The numbers on the paper made her eyes grow wide. 20 million naira. 20 million. Her boyfriend Tund had 20 million naira in his account, and just 2 months ago, he could not even buy her a bottle of Coke. She looked across the small room at Tund, who was sleeping on the bed they had shared the night before. His phone was still buzzing with calls from rich businessmen who wanted to work with him. Just yesterday, a man in a big car had come to give Tund a bag full of money. When she asked Tund how he got so rich so fast, he would just smile and say, "God has blessed me, my love." But Kemi knew something was very wrong. Very, very wrong. She remembered exactly when everything changed. It was the night they first slept together, right here in this same bed. The very next morning, Tund's phone started ringing with business deals. Money started flowing like water from a broken pipe. And now, looking at this bank statement she found in his trouser pocket, she could see the truth. Her hands started shaking even more as she thought about what she had to do next. What she was planning would shock everyone, including Tund. But first, let me tell you how it all started. 2 months earlier, Kemi was just a simple girl selling plantain chips outside the University of Lagos gate. Every morning, she would wake up at 5 a.m. in her small room in Bariga and fry plantain chips to sell to students. The money was small, but it was enough to pay her rent and buy food. Kemi was 22 years old and very beautiful. She had dark, smooth skin, bright white teeth, and eyes that sparkled like stars. Many boys wanted to date her, but Kemi was different. She did not want a boyfriend who would just waste her time. She wanted someone serious, someone who could take care of her and maybe marry her one day. That was when she met Tund. Tund was a student at the University of Lagos, studying business administration. He was in his final year and always looked neat and handsome. Every morning, he would buy plantain chips from Kemi and they would talk and laugh together. But Tund had one big problem: he had no money. His father was a poor mechanic in Mushin, and his mother sold tomatoes in Oyingbo market. They could barely pay his school fees. Tund wore the same 3 shirts every week, and sometimes he would not eat lunch because he had no money. When other students went to expensive places like Victoria Island or Lekki, Tund would stay in his room studying. "Kemi, I wish I could take you somewhere nice," Tund would say sadly whenever he bought chips from her. "But you know my situation. I am just a poor student." Kemi did not mind. She liked that Tund was honest and hardworking. She could see that he really cared about her, not like other boys who only wanted to use girls and throw them away. "Money is not everything, Tund," she would tell him. "What matters is that you have a good heart." For 3 months, they became very close friends. Tund would help Kemi carry her big pot of plantain chips, and Kemi would sometimes give him extra chips for free. They would sit together under the big tree near the gate and talk about their dreams. Tund dreamed of becoming a big businessman one day. He wanted to build companies and create jobs for people. Kemi dreamed of having her own restaurant where she could cook delicious food for people. "One day, when I finish school and get a good job, I will marry you," Tund promised her one evening as they sat watching the sunset. "We will have a big wedding and invite everyone in Lagos." Kemi's heart would skip with joy whenever Tund said such things. She was falling in love with him, even though he had no money. But then something strange happened. One Friday evening, as Kemi was packing up her chips to go home, she saw an old woman walking towards her. The woman was very thin and looked very sick. Her clothes were torn and dirty, and she walked very slowly like her legs were paining her. "My daughter," the old woman said in a weak voice, "please, I am very hungry. I have not eaten anything for 2 days. Can you give me some chips?" Kemi's heart felt sorry for the woman. Even though she had not sold much that day and needed every naira, she could not let the old woman go hungry. "Mama, don't worry," Kemi said kindly. "Take this." She gave the woman a big portion of chips and also gave her a bottle of water. The old woman's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, my daughter. God will bless you. You have a good heart." As the woman was about to leave, she stopped and looked at Kemi with strange eyes that seemed to shine in the dark. "My daughter, I can see that you are worried about something. Is it about love?" Kemi was surprised. How did this woman know? Yes, Mama, Kemi said quietly. There is a boy I love, but he has no money. I don't care about money, but I worry about our future. The old woman smiled mysteriously. What if I told you that your boyfriend could become very rich? Very, very rich. How is that possible, Mama? Kemi asked. The old woman looked around to make sure nobody was listening, then moved closer to Kemi. There are ways, my daughter. Special ways. But every good thing comes with a price. What kind of price? Kemi asked, feeling a little scared. If you really love this boy, and you want him to be rich and successful, bring him to me tomorrow night. I will help him, but you must be ready to do something for him. Something that will change both your lives forever. The old woman wrote an address on a piece of paper and gave it to Kemi. Come to this address tomorrow at 9 p.m. Bring the boy. But remember, once you start this journey, there is no going back. Before Kemi could ask more questions, the old woman disappeared into the dark night like a ghost. Kemi looked at the paper in her hand. The address was in a part of Lagos she had never been to before. Her heart was beating fast. Should she tell Tund about this? What did the old woman mean by something that will change both your lives forever? That night, Kemi could not sleep. She kept thinking about the old woman's words. She loved Tund so much and wanted him to be successful. If there was a way to help him become rich, shouldn't she try? The next evening, she told Tund about meeting the old woman. Kemi, this sounds very dangerous, Tund said, looking worried. What if this woman is a witch or something bad? But Tund, what if she can really help you? What if this is God's way of answering our prayers? Tund was quiet for a long time. He was thinking about how his friends were always making fun of him for being poor. He was thinking about how he could not even buy Kemi a nice gift or take her to a good restaurant. He was thinking about how his father worked so hard as a mechanic but still could not send money to him at school. Okay, Tund said finally. Let us go and see what this woman wants. But if anything seems wrong, we will leave immediately. That night at 9 p.m., Kemi and Tund took a bus to the address the old woman had given them. The place was very far, in a quiet area with few houses. When they got to the address, they found a small house that looked very old and dark. The old woman was waiting for them at the door. Good, you came, she said with a smile that made Kemi feel uncomfortable. Come inside. Let us talk. Inside the house, there were candles everywhere but no electric light. The walls had strange paintings and symbols that Kemi had never seen before. There was a funny smell in the air, like herbs and incense mixed together. Sit down, the old woman said, pointing to two chairs. Young man, she said to Tund, I can see that you are struggling. You want to be successful, yes? Yes, Ma, Tund replied nervously. And you, she turned to Kemi, you love this boy very much, yes? Yes, Ma. Good. Love is very powerful. It can make people do amazing things. The old woman went to a corner of the room and brought out a small bottle filled with dark liquid. This medicine will make you very rich and successful, she told Tund. All your business deals will succeed. Money will come to you from everywhere. You will become one of the richest young men in Lagos. Tund's eyes grew wide. Really? But what do I have to do? You don't have to do anything, young man. But your girlfriend here. The woman looked at Kemi with those strange shining eyes. She has to do something very special. What do I have to do? Kemi asked, her voice shaking a little. You must spend one night with him. You must give yourself to him completely, with all your love and all your heart. When you do this, the medicine will start working, and he will become rich. Kemi felt her cheeks become hot. She and Tund had never slept together before. They had kissed and held hands, but they had never done more than that. But why do I have to do that? Kemi asked quietly. Because love is the most powerful force in the world. My daughter, when a woman gives herself completely to a man she truly loves, it releases special energy. This energy, combined with my medicine, will make the magic work. Tund looked at Kemi, then looked at the old woman. What if we say no? What if we decide we don't want to do this? The old woman's face became serious. Then you will remain poor for the rest of your life. You will struggle and suffer, and you will never achieve your dreams. But if you do this, I promise you, within 1 week, money will start flowing to you like a river. Kemi and Tund looked at each other. They were both scared, but they were also excited about the possibility of becoming rich. Can we think about it? Kemi asked. You have until tomorrow night to decide. If you want to do it, come back here. If not, never come back again, and forget you ever met me. On the bus ride home, Kemi and Tund did not talk much. Both of them were thinking deeply about what the old woman had said. Kemi, what do you think? Tund asked when they reached her area. I don't know, Tund. Sounds scary, but also, what if it really works? What if we could finally have the life we dream about? But are you ready to, sleep with me? Kemi felt shy but also excited. She had been thinking about it for a while anyway. She loved Tund and knew she wanted to marry him one day. If it will help you become successful, and if it means we can have a good future together, then yes. That night, both Kemi and Tund could not sleep. They kept thinking about the old woman's offer. The next evening, they met at their usual spot under the tree. I have decided, Tund said. Let's do it. I am tired of being poor. I am tired of not being able to take care of you properly. Are you sure? Kemi asked. Yes. And you? Are you sure you want to do this for me? Kemi took a deep breath. Yes, Tund. I love you, and I want us to have a good life together. That night, they went back to the old woman's house. Good. I can see you have decided, the old woman said with that mysterious smile. Come, let me give you the medicine. She handed Tund the small bottle with the dark liquid. Drink this now, she instructed. Tund looked at the bottle nervously, then drank the liquid quickly. Tasted bitter and made him feel dizzy for a moment. Now, the old woman said to Kemi, you must take him to your room tonight and give yourself to him completely. Tomorrow morning, the magic will start working. As they were about to leave, the old woman held Kemi's hand tightly. Remember, my daughter, you are doing this because you love him. But love is not always what it seems to be. Sometimes, when we do things for love, we discover truths that we did not expect. Kemi did not understand what the woman meant, but she nodded anyway. That night, in Kemi's small room in Bariga, she and Tund made love for the first time. Kemi was nervous and scared, but also happy because she was with the man she loved. Tund was gentle and caring, and he kept telling her how much he loved her. Thank you for doing this for me, Kemi, he whispered as they lay together afterwards. I promise I will take care of you forever. The next morning, something incredible happened. Tund's phone started ringing very early. It was a man who said he wanted to offer Tund a business deal. Then another call came and another. By afternoon, Tund had received 5 different business offers from people he had never met before. How did they even get my number? Tund asked in amazement. Within a week, just as the old woman had promised, money started flowing to Tund like water. Someone offered him a contract to supply goods to a big company. Another person wanted to give him money to start a business. A rich woman even gave him a car, saying she liked his energy and wanted to support young entrepreneurs. Tund could not believe it. He moved from his small room in the hostel to a nice apartment in Victoria Island. He bought expensive clothes and a new phone. He started eating in fancy restaurants and driving around in his new car. But as the weeks went by, Kemi started noticing strange things about Tund. He became more interested in his new rich friends than in spending time with her. When she called him, he would sometimes not answer. When she visited him in his new apartment, he would seem distracted, always checking his phone or talking about business deals. Tund, are you okay? Kemi asked him one day. You seem different. Different how? Tund replied, not even looking up from his phone. You don't talk to me like you used to. You don't seem excited to see me anymore. Kemi, I am just busy. Can't you see that I am building an empire here? This is what we wanted, remember? But it was not what Kemi wanted. She wanted the old Tund back, the one who would sit with her under the tree and dream about their future together. This new Tund seemed to care more about money than about her. One night, Kemi decided to visit Tund unexpectedly at his apartment. She wanted to surprise him and maybe cook dinner for him like she used to do. When she got to his building, she went up to his floor and knocked on his door. There was no answer, but she could hear voices inside. She tried the door and found it was unlocked. What she saw when she opened the door made her heart break into a million pieces. Tund was in bed with another woman. The woman was light-skinned and very beautiful, wearing expensive jewelry and makeup. She looked like one of those rich girls from Lekki that Kemi had only seen in magazines. "Tund!" Kemi screamed. Tund jumped up, looking shocked and guilty. "Kemi, what are you doing here? I thought you were coming tomorrow." "Who is this woman?" Kemi asked, tears starting to flow down her face. The other woman looked at Kemi with a mean smile. "Oh, so this is the village girl you told me about? The one who sells plantain chips." Village girl. Kemi could not believe what she was hearing. "Tund, is this how you describe me to your new friends?" Tund looked uncomfortable. "Kemi, let me explain." "Explain what? That you forgot about the girl who loved you when you had nothing? The girl who slept with you so that you could become rich." The other woman laughed. "Wait, what? You slept with him to make him rich? What kind of juju nonsense is that?" Tund's face became red with embarrassment. "Kemi, please, let's not talk about that here." "Why not, Tund? Are you ashamed of me now? Are you ashamed of what we did together?" "Look, Kemi," Tund said, his voice becoming cold. "Things change. I am not the same person I was before. I have moved to a different level now. Maybe it's time for you to understand that." Kemi could not believe what she was hearing. This was not the Tund she fell in love with. This was not the man who promised to marry her and take care of her forever. "So you are throwing me away now that you are rich?" she asked, her voice shaking. "I am not throwing you away. But you have to understand, my life is different now. I associate with different kinds of people. Maybe you should find someone more suitable for you." Those words hit Kemi like a slap in the face. She looked at Tund, then at the other woman who was still smiling meanly at her. "Fine," Kemi said, trying to stop her tears. "Enjoy your new life, Tund. But remember, everything that goes up must come down." She turned around and walked out of the apartment, her heart completely broken. But as she walked home that night, crying and thinking about everything that had happened, Kemi remembered something the old woman had told her. Love is not always what it seems to be. Sometimes, when we do things for love, we discover truths that we did not expect. Now she understood what the woman meant. For the next few weeks, Kemi tried to forget about Tund and move on with her life. But it was very hard. Every morning when she went to sell plantain chips, she would remember the times they spent together under the tree. Every night, she would cry herself to sleep, thinking about how Tund had changed and forgotten about her. But then, something made her very curious. She kept hearing stories about how rich Tund had become. People said he now had millions of naira in the bank. They said he was buying houses and cars and investing in big businesses. Some people even said he might become one of the youngest billionaires in Nigeria. Kemi wanted to know exactly how rich Tund had become. Maybe if she saw the numbers, it would help her understand why he had changed so much. Maybe it would help her accept that their love was not strong enough to survive his new wealth. So she decided to do something that she knew was wrong, but she could not help herself. She still had the key to Tund's old room, the one he had given her before he moved to Victoria Island. She knew he sometimes went back there to collect his old things. Maybe she could find some information about his finances there. One afternoon, she went to his old room. Inside, she found some papers and documents that he had left behind. And that was when she found the bank statement that would change everything. 20 million naira. As she stared at that number, holding the paper with shaking hands, Kemi realized that what she was about to do next would shock everyone, including Tund. She was going back to the old woman. The old woman was sitting outside her house when Kemi arrived, almost like she was expecting her. "I knew you would come back, my daughter," the woman said with that same mysterious smile. "Sit down. Tell me what has happened." Kemi sat on a wooden stool and told the old woman everything. She told her about how Tund had become rich, how he had changed, how he had cheated on her with another woman, and how he had thrown her away like trash. The old woman listened quietly, nodding her head from time to time. "And now you want revenge?" the old woman asked when Kemi finished talking. "I don't know what I want," Kemi said honestly. "I just want to understand. Why did the magic work so well for him, but he became so wicked? This is not the man I fell in love with." The old woman's eyes became very serious. "My daughter, there is something I did not tell you the first time you came here. Something very important." "What is it?" "The magic I gave your boyfriend, it was not ordinary magic. It was blood money magic." Kemi felt her heart stop beating for a moment. "Blood money? What do you mean?" "Blood money magic is very powerful, but it comes with a terrible price. The person who uses it will become very rich, yes, but they will also become heartless and wicked. They will stop caring about love, family, and friendship. All they will care about." Kemi could not believe what she was hearing. But why didn't you tell me this before? Why did you let me do it?" "Because you did not ask the right questions, my daughter. You only asked if he could become rich. You did not ask what would happen to his heart." Tears started flowing down Kemi's face again. "So I destroyed the man I loved? I turned him into a monster?" "No, my daughter. You did not destroy him. The magic only brought out what was already inside him. If Tund truly loved you with all his heart, the magic would not have been able to change him so completely." This made Kemi feel even worse. "So you are saying he never really loved me?" "I am saying that his love for you was not as strong as his love for money and success. The magic just made it clear." Kemi felt like her whole world was falling apart. Everything she believed about Tund, everything she thought they had together was a lie. "But there is something else," the old woman continued. "Something even more terrible." "What could be worse than this?" Kemi asked. "The blood money magic. It requires a sacrifice." "A sacrifice? What kind of sacrifice?" The old woman looked at Kemi with eyes full of pity. "Every month, someone close to the person with blood money must die. It could be a family member, a friend, or—" She paused. "The person who helped them get the money in the first place." Kemi felt like ice water was poured all over her body. "You mean someone has to die every month for Tund to keep his wealth?" "Yes, my daughter. And the magic chooses who dies. The person with blood money cannot control it." "But who has been dying?" "Tund has been rich for 2 months now." "Who died?" The old woman was quiet for a moment. Then she said something that made Kemi's blood freeze. "Check the news, my daughter. Check what happened to people around Tund in the past 2 months." Kemi quickly took out her phone and started searching. What she found made her scream. 1 month ago, Tund's father, the poor mechanic in Mushin, had died in a car accident. The news report said his brakes failed while he was driving and he crashed into a truck. 2 weeks ago, Tund's mother, the woman who sold tomatoes in Oyingbo market, had died suddenly from a heart attack. The doctors said it was very strange because she had no history of heart problems. "Oh my God," Kemi whispered, her hands shaking as she read the news reports. "His parents, they are both dead." "Yes," the old woman said sadly. "And do you know what is even more terrible? Tund did not even attend their funerals. He was too busy with his new rich life." Kemi could not stop crying. She felt like she was responsible for the death of 2 innocent people. If she had not agreed to the magic, Tund's parents would still be alive. "This is all my fault," she sobbed. "I killed them. I killed his parents." "No, my daughter. Tund made the choice to drink the medicine. You did not force him. But I convinced him to do it. I slept with him to make the magic work. Their blood is on my hands." The old woman moved closer to Kemi and held her hand. "Listen to me carefully, my daughter. What is done is done. You cannot bring back the dead. But you can stop more people from dying." "How?" "The blood money magic must be stopped. And there is only one way to stop it." "What way?" "The person who helped create the magic, you must take back what you gave." "I don't understand. What did I give?" You gave your love, your innocence, your body, and your energy to make Tund rich. To break the magic, you must take all of that back. But how can I take back something I already gave? The old woman smiled, but this time her smile looked different. It looked dangerous. There is a way, my daughter, but it will require you to do something very difficult. Something that will hurt Tund very much. What do I have to do? You must sleep with him one more time. Kemi looked shocked. What? But he has thrown me away. He has a new girlfriend. He doesn't want me anymore. That does not matter. You must find a way to sleep with him again. But this time it will not be to give him power. It will be to take his power away. How will that work? When you sleep with him the second time, all the energy you gave him the first time will return to you. His wealth will disappear and he will become poor again. The magic will be broken, and no more people will die. Kemi thought about this for a long time. The idea of being with Tund again after what he did to her made her feel sick. But when she remembered his dead parents, and when she thought about who might die next, she knew she had to do something. What if he refuses? What if he doesn't want to sleep with me? Then you must use your intelligence, my daughter. You must make him want you again. But how? He said, I am just a village girl. He said, I am not suitable for his new life. The old woman stood up and went into her house. When she came back, she was holding a small mirror and a bottle of perfume. Take these, she said. Look into this mirror every morning and evening, and spray this perfume on yourself. Within 3 days, you will become the most beautiful woman Tund has ever seen. He will not be able to resist you. Kemi took the mirror and perfume, but she felt scared. Is this also juju? Will it have bad side effects like the last one? No, my daughter. This is just to enhance the beauty you already have. It will not change your heart or make you wicked. It will only make Tund remember why he fell in love with you in the first place. And after I sleep with him and take back the magic, what will happen to him? He will lose all his money. He will become poor again, poorer than he was before. All his rich friends will abandon him. He will have nothing. Will he die? No, he will not die, but he will suffer. He will understand what it feels like to lose everything, just like he made you feel. Kemi felt torn. Part of her wanted Tund to suffer for what he did to her and for abandoning his parents' memories. But another part of her still loved him and did not want to see him in pain. I need time to think about this, she said. You do not have much time, my daughter. The longer the magic continues, the stronger it becomes. And more people will die. Who do you think will be next? Maybe his roommate from school? Maybe one of your friends? Maybe. The old woman looked directly at Kemi. Maybe you. This thought terrified Kemi. She had not considered that she might be the next person to die. You mean the magic might kill me? It is very possible. You are the one who helped create it. The magic might decide that your time is up. Kemi felt like she was trapped between two bad choices. If she did nothing, more innocent people would die, and she might be one of them. If she tried to break the magic, she would have to hurt Tund, and she was not sure she could do that. Give me 2 days to decide, she said finally. You have 2 days, the old woman agreed. But remember, every day you wait is a day that someone else might die. That night, Kemi went home and could not sleep. She kept thinking about Tund's parents, about all the innocent people who might die because of what she had done, and about the difficult choice she had to make. The next morning, she decided to test the magic mirror and perfume. She looked into the mirror and said, "Make me beautiful," then sprayed the perfume on herself. Almost immediately, she could see the difference. Her skin became smoother and brighter. Her eyes became more sparkly. Her hair became shinier and softer. She looked like a completely different person. When she went out to sell plantain chips that day, everyone kept staring at her. Men who had never noticed her before suddenly wanted to buy chips from her and talk to her. Even women stopped to ask her what she was using on her skin. "Kemi, what happened to you?" asked Donnie Blessing, the woman who sold rice and beans next to her. "You look like a movie star." But Kemi was not interested in all the attention. She had more important things to think about, That evening, she decided to go to Victoria Island to see Tund. She was not ready to sleep with him yet, but she wanted to see how he would react to her new appearance. Maybe that would help her decide what to do. When she got to Tund's apartment building, she called him. Tund, it's Kemi. I am downstairs. Can we talk? Kemi? What are you doing here? I told you. Please, Tund. Just give me 5 minutes. I have something important to tell you. Tund was quiet for a moment. Then he said, Okay, 5 minutes. Come up. When Kemi knocked on his door and he opened it, the look on his face was priceless. His eyes became very wide and his mouth opened like he was seeing a ghost. Kemi? Is that really you? Yes, it's me. Tund could not stop staring at her. She looked incredibly beautiful, more beautiful than any woman he had ever seen, including his new rich girlfriend. Wow. You look amazing. What did you do? Can I come in? Tund stepped aside to let her in. His apartment was very fancy, with expensive furniture and a big television. Through the window, you could see the beautiful lights of Lagos Island. Nice place, Kemi said, looking around. Thank you. So, what did you want to talk about? Kemi had planned to tell him about his parents' deaths and about the blood money magic. But when she saw how he was looking at her, like he was hungry for her, she realized that the old woman's magic was working very well. I wanted to apologize for the way I acted the other night when I found you with that other woman, she said softly. Oh, that. Tund looked uncomfortable. Look, Kemi, I'm sorry about how I handled that situation. Maybe I was a bit harsh. You were honest. I understand that your life has changed now. You move in different circles. Exactly, Tund said, happy that she seemed to understand. I knew you would come around eventually. You're a smart girl. I've been thinking about what you said, and I realized that maybe I was holding you back. A successful man like you needs a woman who can match your level. Tund was surprised by this change in Kemi's attitude. The last time he saw her, she was crying and angry. Now she seemed mature and understanding. So what are you saying? He asked. I'm saying that I want to be that woman for you. I want to improve myself so that I can be worthy of your success. As she said this, Kemi moved closer to Tund. The magic perfume was working powerfully. She could see that Tund was finding it very hard to concentrate on her words. He kept looking at her lips and her body. Kemi. His voice became husky. You look incredible. I mean, I always thought you were beautiful. But now, you look like a goddess. Do you think so? She asked, moving even closer. Tund's heart was beating very fast. His new girlfriend was beautiful, but she was also demanding and expensive. She always wanted him to buy her things and take her to expensive places. But Kemi was looking at him with love in her eyes, the way she used to look at him when he was poor. Yes, he whispered. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. I've missed you, Tund, Kemi said softly. I've missed us. Before Tund could think properly, he found himself kissing Kemi. The magic perfume and her beauty were too powerful for him to resist. But just as things were getting intense, Tund's phone rang. It was his new girlfriend. I have to answer this, he said, pulling away from Kemi. Baby, where are you? The girlfriend's voice was loud enough for Kemi to hear. You were supposed to pick me up an hour ago. We have dinner reservations at that expensive restaurant. Remember? Tund looked at Kemi, then at his phone, then back at Kemi. He was torn between his new rich lifestyle and his desire for the woman in front of him. I'll call you back, he told his girlfriend and hung up. You should go, Kemi said. I don't want to cause problems between you and your girlfriend. No, wait, Tund said quickly. She can wait. You're here now and we're talking. This is important. Is it? Kemi asked. Because the other night you said I wasn't suitable for your new life. I was wrong, Tund said, moving closer to her again. Maybe I was too quick to judge. Maybe we can find a way to make this work. Kemi could see that the magic was working perfectly. Tund was falling under her spell just like the old woman had said he would. What about your girlfriend? She asked. What about her? She's not you, Kemi. She doesn't know me like you do. She doesn't care about me the way you do. But she fits into your new world. My new world is empty without you in it. These were exactly the words Kemi had dreamed of hearing from Tund. But now that she was hearing them, they did not make her happy. She knew they were only because of the magic, not because Tund had genuinely realized his mistake. I should go, she said, starting to move toward the door. No, please don't go, Tund begged. Stay with me tonight. Let's talk properly. Let's figure out how we can be together again. Kemi knew this was her chance. If she stayed tonight, she could sleep with Tund and break the blood money magic. She could stop more people from dying. But looking at him now, remembering how much she had loved him, she found it very difficult to go through with her plan. I don't know, Tund. A lot has happened. I need time to trust you again. I understand. But please just stay tonight. We don't have to do anything. Just stay so we can talk and reconnect. Kemi pretended to think about it, then nodded. Okay, I'll stay. But just to talk. Of course, just to talk. But both of them knew that, with the way they were looking at each other, they would not just be talking for long. Tund called his girlfriend and told her he was sick and could not make their dinner date. Then he turned off his phone and gave all his attention to Kemi. They talked for hours about their past, their dreams, and how much they had missed each other. The magic was making Tund remember all the reasons why he had fallen in love with Kemi in the first place. I'm sorry for the way I treated you, he said as they sat together on his expensive couch. I got carried away with all the money and success. I forgot what was really important. What's really important? Kemi asked. You. The love we shared. If only he knew, Kemi thought to herself, that the money and success came with such a terrible price. As the night went on, the attraction between them became stronger and stronger. Tund could not keep his hands off Kemi, and Kemi found herself responding to his touch despite everything that had happened. I want you, Kemi, Tund whispered in her ear. I want you so badly. This was the moment Kemi had been waiting for. This was her chance to break the magic and save innocent lives. But as she looked into Tund's eyes, she saw something that made her hesitate. She saw genuine love there, or at least what looked like genuine love. Was it possible that the magic perfume had not just made Tund desire her body, but had also made him remember his real feelings for her? Was it possible that underneath all his wickedness and greed, the old Tund, the one who truly loved her, was still there? Are you sure? She asked. Are you sure this is what you want? Not just tonight, but forever. I'm sure, Tund said, pulling her closer. I want to be with you forever. I want to marry you and take care of you. I was a fool to think that money was more important than love. These words made Kemi's heart skip. This was everything she had ever wanted to hear from Tund. But then she remembered the old woman's words. The magic only brought out what was already inside him. If Tund truly loved you with all his heart, the magic would not have been able to change him so completely. So what was real? Did Tund really love her? Or was this just the effect of the magic perfume? And more importantly, what would happen to him when she took back the blood money magic? Would he hate her forever? As Tund started kissing her neck and moving his hands over her body, Kemi closed her eyes and made her decision. She was going to sleep with him and break the magic, no matter what happened afterwards. She could not let more innocent people die because of what she had done. I love you, Tund, she whispered. I love you too, Kemi. More than anything in the world. As they moved to his bedroom and started removing their clothes, Kemi felt like she was saying goodbye to the man she had loved for so long. After tonight, everything would change. Tund would lose all his wealth and probably hate her for the rest of his life. But at least no more mothers and fathers would die because of blood money magic. At least she would be able to live with herself. As Tund made love to her, whispering sweet words in her ear and telling her how much he had missed her, Kemi felt the magic energy flowing out of him and back into her. She could feel his wealth and power leaving his body and returning to where it came from. What she didn't expect was what she felt next. As the magic reversed itself, Kemi suddenly saw flashes of everything that had happened since Tund became rich. She saw him laughing with his rich friends as they made fun of poor people. She saw him spending money on expensive things while his parents were struggling. She saw him with multiple women, not just the one she had caught him with. But most shocking of all, she saw him getting a phone call about his father's death and hanging up without even crying. She saw him getting news of his mother's death and going to a party that same evening. The blood money magic had not just made Tund greedy, it had made him completely heartless. And now, as the magic was being reversed, she could see the real Tund clearly for the first time. He had never really loved her. Even before the magic, even when he was poor, he had only been with her because she was convenient. She was someone who made him feel better about himself, someone who took care of him and supported him, but he had never seen her as his equal. The magic had just given him the confidence to show his true feelings. As this terrible truth hit her, Kemi started crying. "What's wrong, baby?" Tund asked, holding her close. "Why are you crying?" But Kemi knew that in a few hours, when the magic was completely gone, this caring version of Tund would disappear too. The real Tund, the one who saw her as just a village girl, would be back. And he would be very, very angry about what she had just done to him. Kemi woke up the next morning to the sound of Tund screaming. "What the hell? Where is my money?" She opened her eyes and saw Tund standing by his laptop, his face full of panic and anger. He was checking his bank accounts online, and from the look on his face, Kemi knew the magic reversal had worked completely. "My accounts, they're all empty. 20 million naira. Gone." Tund was almost crying as he frantically clicked through different banking websites. "This can't be happening." Kemi sat up in bed, pulling the bedsheet around herself. She felt scared but also relieved. The blood money magic was finally broken. No more innocent people would die. Tund suddenly turned to look at her, his eyes full of suspicion. "Did you do something to my money?" he demanded. "What are you talking about?" Kemi tried to look confused, but her heart was beating very fast. "I had 20 million naira yesterday, 20 million, and now it's all gone. The only thing that changed was..." He looked at her with growing anger. "Was you coming here last night?" "Tund, you're scaring me. How could I take your money? I don't even know your bank passwords." But Tund was not listening. He was pacing around the room like a madman, running his hands through his hair. "My car. Let me check my car." He ran to the window and looked down at the parking lot. The expensive car that had been given to him was no longer there. In its place was an old, rusty Volkswagen that looked like it might break down at any moment. "No, no, no." Tund screamed. "This can't be happening." His phone started ringing. It was one of his business partners. "Hello, Tund? We need to talk. Something strange has happened. All the contracts we signed with you, they've been cancelled. The government officials are saying they never met you. It's like all your business deals just disappeared." Tund's face went completely white. He hung up the phone and sat on the bed heavily. "Everything is gone," he whispered. "Everything." Kemi felt sorry for him, but she also felt angry. This was the same man who had thrown her away when he became rich. This was the man who didn't even cry when his parents died. "Maybe it's a sign," she said quietly. "Maybe you're supposed to go back to being the person you were before." Tund looked at her with eyes full of rage. "The person I was before? You mean poor? You mean struggling? You mean being nobody? You mean being human?" Kemi replied. "You mean caring about people who love you." "Love?" Tund laughed bitterly. "What do you know about love? You're just a village girl who sells plantain chips." There it was. The real Tund was back. Even without the blood money magic making him wicked, he still looked down on Kemi. He still saw her as beneath him. "At least I know how to love people truly," Kemi said, standing up and starting to get dressed. "At least I don't abandon the people who care about me when things get difficult." "What are you talking about?" Kemi decided it was time for Tund to know the full truth. "Your parents are dead, Tund." Tund froze. "What?" "Your father died in a car accident 1 month ago. Your mother died from a heart attack 2 weeks ago. And you didn't even go to their funerals because you were too busy enjoying your blood money." "Blood money? What are you talking about?" And how do you know about my parents? Kemi looked at Tund with a mixture of sadness and anger. The money you had, it wasn't a blessing from God, Tund. It was blood money magic. And I'm the one who helped you get it. She told him everything. About the old woman, about the magic medicine, about how their first night together had activated the spell, and about how the magic required someone to die every month. You're lying, Tund said when she finished, but his voice was shaking. Check the news yourself. Check when your father died. Check when your mother died. Then count how many months you've been rich. Tund grabbed his phone and started searching. When he found the news articles about his parents' deaths, his face became completely pale. No, this can't be true. It is true. And last night, when we slept together, I reversed the magic. That's why all your money is gone. That's why all your business deals disappeared. The spell is broken, and no more people will die because of your greed. Tund stared at her for a long moment. Then suddenly he grabbed her by the shoulders and started shaking her. You destroyed my life. You gave me wealth and then you took it away. Why would you do this to me? Because people were dying, Tund. Your own parents died because of that magic. And you didn't even care. Of course I cared. They were my parents. Then why didn't you go to their funerals? Why didn't you even cry when they died? Tund let go of her shoulders and stepped back. For the first time since she had known him, he looked completely defeated. The magic. It made me stop caring about everything except money, he said quietly. I wanted to care about my parents, but I couldn't feel anything. It was like my heart was frozen. And now? How do you feel now? Tears started flowing down Tund's face as the full reality hit him. I feel everything. I feel the pain of losing them. I feel guilty for not being there for them. I feel angry at myself for wasting the last months of their lives chasing money instead of spending time with them. Kemi felt her own heart breaking as she watched Tund cry. This was the first real emotion she had seen from him in months. I'm sorry, she said softly. I'm sorry I convinced you to take the magic medicine. I'm sorry your parents died because of what we did. But I couldn't let more people die. Tund looked up at her with eyes full of pain and anger. You're sorry? Sorry doesn't bring back my parents. Sorry doesn't bring back my money. Sorry doesn't fix the fact that you ruined my life twice. Once by giving me the magic, and once by taking it away. I was trying to help you. Help me? You helped me become a monster. You helped me lose my parents. And now you've made me poor again. And for what? So you could feel better about yourself. Kemi was getting angry now too. I did it to save lives. And maybe to teach you a lesson about what's really important in life. What's really important? Being poor, struggling, having nothing, being human, caring about other people, remembering where you came from. Tund looked at her with disgust. You know what, Kemi? Maybe losing everything is worth it if it means I never have to see you again. You've been nothing but bad luck in my life. These words hit Kemi like a slap in the face. After everything they had been through, after all the love she had given him, this was how he saw her. Fine, she said, finishing getting dressed. I'll leave. But before I go, let me tell you something that will shock you more than losing your money. What? I know you never really loved me. Not before the magic, not during the magic, and not now. I saw the truth when I reversed the spell last night. I saw how you really felt about me all along. Tund looked surprised that she knew this. If you knew I didn't really love you, why did you bother helping me get rich in the first place? Because I loved you. I thought love could change people. I thought if I gave you everything you wanted, you would learn to love me back. And now you know better. Yes, now I know better. I know that you can't make someone love you by sacrificing yourself for them. I know that real love doesn't need magic to exist. And I know that I deserve better than someone who sees me as just a village girl. Kemi walked toward the door, but Tund called after her. Wait, what happens to me now? How am I supposed to live without money? How am I supposed to rebuild my life? Kemi turned back to look at him one last time. The same way your parents lived their whole lives. The same way millions of poor people in Nigeria live every day. You work hard, You treat people with respect, and you find happiness in things that money can't buy. Easy for you to say. You were never rich, so you don't know what it feels like to lose everything. You're right, I was never rich with money. But I was rich with love, and I lost that too. The difference is, I'm not bitter about it. I learned from it. As Kemi reached for the door handle, Tund said something that surprised her. Will you help me? She turned around. Help you what? Help me learn how to be human again. Help me learn how to care about people. Help me learn how to live without money. Kemi studied his face carefully. Was this another trick? Was he just saying what he thought she wanted to hear? Why would you want my help? You just said I was bad luck in your life. Because... Tund struggled to find the words. Because even though you destroyed my life, you also saved it. If you hadn't reversed the magic, I would have become a complete monster. I would have lost my soul entirely. And you think you still have a soul worth saving? I don't know. But if I do, you're the only person who ever saw it. You're the only person who ever believed I could be better than I was. Kemi felt confused. Part of her wanted to help Tund because she could see he was genuinely suffering. But another part of her was tired of sacrificing herself for someone who didn't appreciate it. I need time to think about it, she said. How much time? I don't know. Maybe a long time. Maybe forever. She opened the door to leave, but Tund called after her one more time. Kemi, what happened to the old woman? The one who gave us the magic. Kemi had been wondering the same thing. She had been planning to go back and tell the old woman that the magic was broken. I don't know, but I'm going to find out. That afternoon, Kemi took a bus to the old woman's house. But when she got there, she found something that shocked her more than anything else that had happened. The house was empty. Not just empty, it looked like no one had lived there for years. The roof was falling apart, the walls were covered with rust, and thick grass was growing all around it. Kemi knocked on the door, but no one answered. She looked through the windows, but the house was completely empty inside. Excuse me, she called to an old man who was walking past. Do you know what happened to the woman who used to live in this house? The old man looked at her strangely. Woman? My daughter, no one has lived in that house for more than 10 years. The woman who used to live there died a long time ago. Kemi felt like the ground was spinning under her feet. But I was here just 2 months ago. I spoke to her. She gave me medicine for my boyfriend. The old man looked at Kemi with pity in his eyes. My daughter, I have lived in this area for 30 years. That house has been empty since the old woman died. People say her spirit still lives there, helping young people who are desperate for money and success. But she always makes them pay a terrible price. Her spirit. Yes, they say she was a powerful medicine woman when she was alive. When she died, her spirit remained to teach people lessons about greed and love. Kemi sat down heavily on a rock nearby. Everything was making sense now. The old woman had been a ghost. A spirit that appeared to people who were desperate enough to do anything for money and success. She had given Tund blood money magic, knowing it would destroy his humanity. And then she had helped Kemi reverse the magic, knowing it would teach both of them important lessons about love and greed. What lesson did she want me to learn? Kemi asked herself out loud. As if in answer to her question, she heard a voice, the old woman's voice whispering in the wind. You learned that real love cannot be bought, my daughter. You learned that you cannot change someone who does not want to be changed. And you learned that your worth does not depend on how other people see you. Kemi looked around, but she could not see anyone. What about Tund? What lesson was he supposed to learn? He learned that money without love is meaningless. He learned that success without humanity is empty. And he learned that the people who love you when you have nothing are the most precious treasures in the world. So what happens now? Now you both must decide who you want to be. Will you let this experience make you bitter and angry? Or will you use it to become wiser and stronger? The voice faded away, leaving Kemi alone with her thoughts. As she sat there thinking about everything that had happened, Kemi realized that the old woman was right. She had learned important lessons about love, about self-worth, and about the difference between what people say and what people do. She had loved Tund truly, but he had never deserved that love. She had sacrificed herself for him, but he had never appreciated it. She had tried to change him, but you cannot change someone who doesn't want to be changed. But she had also learned that she was stronger than she thought. She had been brave enough to break the blood money magic, even though it meant hurting someone she loved. She had been smart enough to see through Tund's fake promises, and she had been wise enough to know her own worth. As the sun began to set, Kemi made her decision about Tund's request for help. She took out her phone and called him. Tund, it's Kemi. Kemi, have you decided? Will you help me? I've decided, and my answer is no. There was silence on the other end of the phone. But why? I thought you said you loved me. I did love you, Tund. I loved you truly and completely. But loving someone doesn't mean I have to sacrifice my own happiness to save them from the consequences of their choices. So you're just going to abandon me? I'm not abandoning you. I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing to love myself the way I loved you. What am I supposed to do without your help? You're supposed to learn how to help yourself. You're supposed to learn how to be a good person because it's the right thing to do, not because someone is teaching you or forcing you. But I don't know how. Then you'll figure it out. The same way I figured out how to survive after you threw me away. The same way your parents figured out how to survive when they were poor. Kemi could hear Tund crying on the other end of the phone. I'm sorry, he said. I'm sorry for everything I did to you. I'm sorry for not appreciating your love. I'm sorry for calling you a village girl. I'm sorry for not being the man you deserved. Thank you for apologizing, Tund. That means a lot to me. But apologizing doesn't mean I have to come back and save you again. So this is goodbye? Kemi thought about it for a moment. This is goodbye to the old US, she said finally. Maybe one day, if you really change, if you really become a better person, we can be friends. But the girl who would do anything for your love is gone. She died the night you chose money over her. And who are you now? Kemi smiled for the first time in months. I'm a woman who knows her worth. I'm a woman who won't settle for less than real love. I'm a woman who learned that the most important relationship you can have is the one you have with yourself. After she hung up the phone, Kemi felt free for the first time since she had met Tund. She walked to the main road and flagged down a bus back to Lagos. As the bus drove away from the area where the old woman's house had been, Kemi thought about her future. She was still going to sell plantain chips, but now she was going to save money to open her own restaurant like she had always dreamed. She was going to focus on building her own success, her own happiness, her own life. And if love came her way again, it would have to be real love, the kind that didn't need magic to exist, the kind that appreciated her exactly as she was. 6 months later, Kemi was running a successful small restaurant in Ikeja. She had saved enough money to rent a proper space, buy good equipment, and hire 2 helpers. Her food was so delicious that people came from all over Lagos to eat there. She was happy, successful, and most importantly, she was at peace with herself. One evening, as she was closing the restaurant, a familiar figure appeared at her door. It was Tund. But this Tund looked very different from the rich, arrogant man she had known, and also different from the desperate, angry man she had left 6 months ago. This Tund looked humble, clean, and peaceful. He was wearing simple clothes, and his eyes held a kindness that she had never seen before. "Hello, Kemi," he said quietly. "Hello, Tund. I heard about your restaurant. I'm happy for you. You deserve all the success in the world." "Thank you. How are you?"
I'm okay.
"I'm working as a teacher now, at a primary school in Mushin. The pay is small, but I like helping children learn." "That's good. Teaching is noble work. I also started a small foundation to help poor students pay their school fees. I named it after my parents." Kemi was surprised. This was not what she had expected from Tund. "That's wonderful. Your parents would be proud." "I hope so. I think about them every day now. I wish I could tell them I'm sorry." They stood in silence for a moment. "Why did you come here, Tund?" Kemi asked finally. "I came to thank you." "Thank me for what?" "For saving my life. For showing me what real love looks like." for teaching me that being human is more important than being rich. Kemi studied his face carefully. The change in him seemed real, but she had been fooled before. I'm glad you learned those lessons, she said. But you didn't need to come here to tell me that. You're right. I also came to tell you that you were the best thing that ever happened to me, and I was too stupid to see it when it mattered. Tund. I'm not asking you to take me back, Kemi. I know I don't deserve that. I just wanted you to know that losing you was the biggest mistake of my life. Bigger than taking the blood money magic. Bigger than losing my parents. Because everything else could be forgiven or fixed, but losing your love, that's something I'll regret forever. Kemi felt tears forming in her eyes, but she wasn't sure if they were tears of sadness or happiness. I'm glad you understand that now, she said softly. Is there any chance? Any small chance? That we could start over? Not as boyfriend and girlfriend, but just as friends? I promise I won't ask for more than that. Kemi looked at this new version of Tund, humble, kind, working to help others instead of just helping himself. Part of her wanted to believe that people could really change this much. But another part of her remembered the old woman's lesson. You cannot change someone who does not want to be changed. The question was, had Tund really changed himself, or was this just another performance? Maybe, she said finally, but if we're going to be friends, it has to be real friendship. No games, no lies, no hidden motives. I promise. And you have to understand that I'm not the same girl you used to know. I don't need anyone to save me or take care of me. I can take care of myself. I can see that, and I respect that. Then maybe we can try being friends, but slowly. And if you ever lie to me again, or try to manipulate me, or treat me with disrespect, it's over forever. Tund nodded seriously. I understand. As Kemi locked up her restaurant and walked toward the bus stop, Tund walked beside her. Can I ask you something? He said. What? Do you think the old woman planned all of this? Do you think she knew we would both end up here, having this conversation? Kemi thought about it. I think she knew that we both needed to learn some hard lessons about love, money, and what really matters in life. Whether we ended up friends, enemies, or strangers probably didn't matter to her as much as whether we learned those lessons. And did we? Learn the lessons, Kemi smiled. I learned that I'm worth more than I thought I was. I learned that real love doesn't require sacrifice or magic or changing yourself to please someone else. And I learned that the most important person to love is yourself. What did I learn? You'll have to figure that out for yourself, Tund. But if you've really changed, then you already know the answer. As they reached the bus stop and went their separate ways, Kemi felt complete. She had been through a journey that started with innocent love, led to magical manipulation, included heartbreak and betrayal, and ended with wisdom and self-respect. She had slept with Tund and he became rich, but what she did next, reversing the magic, had shocked everyone, including herself. But the biggest shock of all was not the magic or the betrayal or even the death and destruction that followed. The biggest shock was discovering that she had always been strong enough to save herself. She just had to learn how to do it.